Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 1997 Volvo 850R. Now the 850 was produced between 1991 and 1996, model years 1992 to 1997, with nearly 717,000 being made. It was initially only available as a saloon, with the estate introduced in 1993, and this R high performance version introduced in 1996. So the car was advertised as having 4 innovations when it was launched, one of which includes the engine, which we'll get to eventually, but the other 3 were a Delta-Link rear axle, a side impact protection system, and a self-adjusting front seatbelt mechanism, things that weren't all that commonplace back in the day. So I really rather like this car. There aren't that many high-performance saloon cars to compare this against, the Audi RS2 being the only one from the 90s, which granted is faster than this because it has all-wheel drive, more power from a bigger engine. But this is the better compromise, quite frankly, because that Audi has a less intelligent design underneath, especially in terms of the engine. It's nowhere near as practical in terms of interior space, because as you can see here, it's got plenty of room in the front, a ton of room in the back, and a huge boot, which is something the Audi doesn't have, which is, one reason why the design of this car is so much better, because of the shape of the body, which is relatively square. Means you not only have a long boot, but you also have a wide boot as well. And width is essential, really, for taking up a boot and putting big things in it, because not everything's long. A lot of things are wide. So having a wide boot is essential, quite frankly, if you're somebody that's going to be lugging a load of things around. And if you have dogs, then having a big boot like that is definitely an advantage. And the fourth innovation with this car was the engine. It's a inline 5 2.3 litre turbocharged engine, which is transverse, as you can see, and it produces 240 horsepower and 221 pounds-feet of torque. So much better design on the underneath as well. Granted, not as much power or torque as the Audi, but because it's a transverse engine, meaning it's longitudinally placed rather than horizontally placed, means that it's not taking up as much room in the front, so there's more space in the front, rear, and for the boot, which is something the Audi doesn't have. And even though that's not a lot of power compared to the Audi, it is near enough the most powerful Volvo estate car you could have at the time. It's not the most powerful version of this car though, as there was a manual version of this vehicle. The automatic is this version, and the manual had 10 horsepower more and 37 pounds-feet of torque more, purely because it had a heavy-duty manual gearbox, which was only briefly available in 1996, but this is still plenty of power and torque. So no qualms about that. And even though it is front-wheel drive, it's able to manage all that power, quite frankly, a lot more so than some hot hatchbacks of the day or from years ahead of this. So this is a great car, really, in terms of compromise. It's got more power than any hot hatchback you'll see from this time. Granted, it is heavier at 3,230 pounds, but for that extra bit of weight, you've got way more interior space and way more boot space as well, which makes it more practical. And then the extra horsepower and torque might well not help it as much on terms of the acceleration because of all that weight, but it certainly helps in terms of top speed. So I really do like this car. Like I said, I like the look of it. It's got a good performance. It's got a really rather nice engine, and got practicality in spades. And it was also really rather successful in terms of British touring car racing. So it's even got some racing pedigree going alongside it as well. Nonetheless, let's get out there and see what it can do. Now, like a recent car pass vehicle, inline 5 engines aren't all that popular on this game, but it does add another unique element to this vehicle. And even though it is obviously front wheel drive, like I said, it really doesn't feel like it a lot of the time. Sure, there's a hint of understeer, but even some rear wheel drive cars have that. So really rather good handling for a front wheel drive car with way more than 200 horsepower. all the while having this really rather large body, but it handles the weight and the size of the vehicle really well as well. Now granted, this is the R version, so it's bound to have better suspension, better handling than a standard 850, but even so, it's yeah, really rather remarkable that a car of this size, while having front wheel drive, is as fun to drive as it is. And yeah, quite frankly, it gives hot hatchbacks of the day a run for their money. Now granted, it's not as quick as say a Civic Type R from the same year as this, because that is lighter and yeah, it doesn't have that much less power than this, but compare it to the likes of a V6 Volkswagen GTI, this is better. And yeah, not having such a large engine as well while having a turbocharger would make this more efficient as well. So yeah, really do like this car, like I said. And yeah, acceleration times might not be the best. 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds and 0 to 100 in 18.7 seconds, but because it does have all that extra power over, say, a normal hot hatchback, it can do 155 miles an hour, which, you know, is really rather competitive even by today's standards, let alone in the late 90s. So yeah, really good on that front. And yeah, I really like the sound of the engine as well. And yeah, like I said, it's really rather fun to drive, it's really rather playful. And yeah, that front wheel drive system really doesn't have all that much impact on the you know, any negative handling aspects. Like I said, hint of understeer, but nothing more than that really. And you can still truck it around and have plenty of fun with it at the same time. It's such a shame really we only have the automatic version, because, well, Forza games are generally based in the US, or their cars are from the US, or, you know, captured and you know, put to the game from US models. And yeah, the manual version wasn't available in the US, so yeah, if we could hopefully get a European version of this car, then we'd have more power, more torque, and even a more fun vehicle to drive. But as it is, this is still really rather good. And just goes to show that a compromise, a sensible compromise in terms of weight and body size, can make for a car that's even better than vehicles that are lighter and a bit more quicker in terms of acceleration. Because yeah, other hot hatchbacks might well lick this in terms of acceleration times, but this has a better top speed, it has a better practicality, and yeah, it's a little bit more unique. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with the next one. Bye.